What is up, everybody? We are here for episode 13 of the Simply Racing Show podcast. I'm excited. I got Goody here with us today. We're going to go live here and showcase a lot of interesting racing that we saw on Wednesday night. Maybe go back on the previous week, check up on some controversy. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of interesting things there. Then we're going to take a look at our picks, how they went, see what our picks are like for Talladega, which is next week, and then take a look at the playoff guys, see what they have to do to be able to make it to the next round. Next week is Talladega, an elimination round, and a lot of guys are going to have different process of how they have to get through Talladega. So we'll talk about that. And then we've got another runner for the gauntlet. That was Zach Evans, a very good broadcaster. Very fun, interesting interview we had with him around the gauntlet. And we got the marble race at the end of it all, just to see who's going to be the lucky one at Talladega. Are you excited for all of this, Goody?
I am. I'm excited to hear from old meat fine Zach Evans. Great announcer, great racer. Did he have the white gloves on? Do you know that? I didn't have the camera on them.
If they were white, they didn't end up white at the end. There was probably a lot of dirt that flew away.
Hell yeah!
I'm just give you a preview. Yeah, it was rough. It was rough to watch them around there. So that'd be an interesting. No, that's a difficult track for sure. But we're excited. We're going to start things off with taking a look at last night's race and see how everything went for the second round of the playoffs. Kind of get an idea of how Chicagoland went. A lot of drivers were complaining early on about Chicagoland with how it was going to race and how it was handling, and I thought it had pretty good, interesting racing. Didn't you think so, Goody?
I did. I was kind of one that, had it figured out, didn't have it figured out, had it figured out again.
Did you?
Yeah, I was fifth in practice, man. I was pumped. I was making moves in practice that I normally don't make. And after that, it was...
it was over.
It was just typical me at that point.
It was over. You're really getting up there with those instant points, man. You're making my pick look really good. I hope you keep that up.
Technically, I didn't have that many last night. I think I had 8x last night, which we'll see later. It looked worse than what it was. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah.
We're gonna go ahead and take a look at it now. Let's take a look and see how the race went. And I know a lot of people are probably qualifying right now for the Indy race, so hopefully they're able to tune in while they're waiting on pit road to be able to get out to do their qualifying lap. So we'll keep you updated with how the qualifying is going on the Indy side of things as well. But at the start of the race here, Ethan Burrell, Purdue good, got the pole once again. That was really good.
Got the pole, and Trey Holmes usually right alongside him, it seems like, whenever they're up front. And he had a good qualifying run, and man, it seemed like for a lot of the race, this is about how it was. 2-3 wide. Oh, Garrison. He had a lot of close calls, I think, last night.
This was the first incident that didn't cause a caution, though. This was one of our playoff drivers, Jesse Racimus, and that was very common coming out of turn 4. People were getting a little tight together, and Jesse Racimus went into the grass a little bit. Here's some more racing here. Garrison Hogan was battling with... did you? What'd you hear?
Is this one with Chad? Or no? Or is that later?
No.
Okay.
That's later.
Never mind.
That's later. This was with Garrison Hogan and I believe that's the 0-1 there of Ryan Gable. No, that's Chad and Gable. Sorry. I've got the wrong people in there. That's Chad and Gable. This might be the one that you actually saw. They were racing side by side, and it was getting very pushy and shovey.
Yeah.
Chad throws it into the turn.
Tries to be Kyle Larson here.
Yeah, there was a lot of beating and shoving between these two guys all race long. I mean, the side drafting. Look how crazy the racing was.
It was. I thought it was kind of going to be more of a crap show or shit show than what it was, but it was fun. It was
I mean, look, there's not a part of the track that's not being used in that shot right there. I mean, there's what, 4 or 5 lanes just shown right there. I don't think anyone's running the exact same lane as someone else. They're all a little bit different. And you could just do that the whole time.
Yeah, and that's what I liked about the track last night. The car was tight. I know a lot of people were complaining about the car being pretty tight, but it was nice being able to figure out what lanes to get that car to rotate. And actually, the odd thing of it was there was a certain point, like maybe after about 20, 30 laps, it seemed like your car rotated a little bit better. But if you were in a pack like this, I think what we've seen with Jesse just a few moments ago too, where if you feel like you got on the throttle at that point, that you'd be able to make that corner.
You just
Jesse just plowed up.
Plow right up to the top. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt like it was. It was just a lot of drivers having a hard time trying to make a pass. If they could get down to the bottom of them, you could hold them off. And you see right there, I mean, everyone trying to take that high side lane there. But he had a rare bad qualifying run. Had to start in the back, having to work his way up there. We're about to get to where our first caution was. And it wasn't a big caution. I believe it's right here on lap 41. We go a little bit further. And I do believe we'll have our first caution now.
A lot of eyes on Chad last night, huh?
Chad was all over. Yeah, Chad was very aggressive. He was very, very aggressive. But this was our first caution. Casey Hatch, our marbles pick, did not have a good run. Got into Carlos Acosta, spun Carlos around. Carlos, I think this is like his third race and third time being spun out.
Yeah, and he did a good job of staying off the wall there too. And it could have been a lot worse for him the way it was.
He got the wall pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, he clipped it, but I think he said he only had because he was in the Do Good chat with us last night.
Oh, was he?
He only had maybe 20 seconds of damage there.
Oh, then he got lucky then.
Yeah,
because that could have been a lot worse. Yeah, I guess he did. He did a pretty good job not backing it into it and everything. And just locking it down.
Little pasito to the wall there. Just a little kiss.
Now, this is the interesting part because if you ask Matthew Weeks, this is where his race was essentially ended by Chad Frankenfield. You'll take a look kind of right there in the middle of the screen. There's a little bit of red and a little bit of white. They're about to turn into their pit stops. This is the first pit stops of the night. And Chad's right behind Mr. Weeks, and they're going into their pit stops, and you'll see Chad gives him a good little shove past his pit box, and from there on, Matthew Weeks says, in his opinion, now again, you can take it as it is, as the being, full of being truthfulness, but he says the back end of the car was destroyed at that point, and his race was essentially over from Chad Frankenfield's push.
I'm not going to say yes or no either way, but I feel like that it could be a placebo effect, definitely, that, I'm sure, I don't run, I'm maybe fortunate enough not to run up front with Chad a lot, but those guys running with Chad, he can sometimes be a wrecking ball, and
just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
And
here's
something happens here that I think it just kind of gets in your head, and that might have been part of it for weeks.
Yeah, we go back green here, and then they start racing. There's no real incident, but I just wanted to showcase more how aggressive the racing was here tonight. So I mean, Chad Frankenfield, Matthew Weeks racing side by side up there. I think Chad gets into the 13, so there was some pushing. I guess I lie. There is a little bit of incidents. There's a lot of shoving and pushing. I could see more people getting into the side of people than I've ever seen, and it not turn somebody around.
Yeah,
I mean, people were sliding into each other, and it just wasn't causing massive wrecks.
Yeah, I know. Back in the pack where I was racing, going 3 wide, get guys in your door, and it didn't even hardly upset your car at all. But it just like, oh, okay, someone hit me there. But yeah, it's wild, and how big the side draft came into play, and I'm sure here with these 3 Toyotas 3 wide, it's gonna be interesting.
Well, Garrison Hogan makes a good run here. He's gonna go 3 wide going into turn number 3 underneath Tooker and Tate Lytle there. Really good move. I wanted to showcase that. The 36 making quick work, got 2 spots. People are complaining about passing. Well, how about you just pass them 2 guys in front of you in one turn and not make a deal of it? Going back, more Chad Frankenfield and Ryan Gable.
Oh!
No, this time they get into a shoving match.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So
I love it.
Yeah, there was a lot of shoving back there. Chad wasn't making a lot of friends. Now we're going to showcase the second caution here. That kind of looked a little suspect. I'll be honest.
I think Rucker even. I heard Rucker say something like that looked intentional, man. But
that looked pretty intentional. I'll be honest with you.
But it's Rucker, so we can't blame Mark on that.
Is it? Because that looks. I don't know. That looks like it was aimed. I don't know.
If you're gonna aim at someone, aim at Sunny D. I think that's what. I like how Mark Murphy addressed it as Sunny D, not number 64. That was kind of funny.
Yeah. I mean, that was another caution from 40th place. So both cautions coming from the 40th place. Another pit stops happens. This is kind of a strategy. If you told me if they were going to go green from here on out, that what Jonathan Cutlip did right here with 2 tires and Johnny Thomas a little farther back, going and taking 2 tires, I would have told you that was their race ruined. And it wasn't the case. 2 tires that Jonathan Cutlip takes here essentially made his night way better. It allowed him to have a really good finish at the end of this race. And I mean, I wouldn't have expected that. Here's some more contact. Ryan Gable and Scott Crump.
I couldn't believe that Johnny was up there because I think right before my demise, or at one point he was. Or this is here we go.
Sorry,
I could see him. He wasn't that far ahead of me at one point, and also now once I was wrecked out, I was kind of watching the race, and I couldn't believe that he was up there, and once I found out he took 2 tires, I couldn't believe it worked, but it does make sense because it loosens the car up and.
Yeah, that's what he said. I mean, even Johnny Thomas says it was. It made his night a lot better. More contact happening. This is where we get our next, our biggest incident of the race, and it didn't end up being a caution, which I have no idea how it didn't end up being a caution. But here's Casey Hatch again, the marbles winner, and he gets involved in this. You tell me what happened here, Goody. We're gonna go on board with you and take a look and see how you tell me what happened.
Was that I seen Abbott get sideways, and I seen him save it. I thought it was gonna be good, and then, there you see. I didn't realize how bad Hunter Smith got sideways when we just showed that last clip. And hindsight, I was like, man, I should have just stayed off brakes and gas, just went low on the apron. I tried to whoa it up because I thought maybe the caution was going to come out. I had my rear brakes locked all the way in the back.
All the way locked up, yeah. And then right into Brent Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard hit.
He had a good night after that. He was not pleased.
Yeah, I can believe it. Here goes the pass for the lead. Oh, almost turned him around. A little bit of neck code. That was between Jonathan Cutlip and Garrison Hogan. Garrison Hogan able to do a slide job, and he gets right in front of him. Oh, boy. Man, he was not playing around that night.
Hearing from Ethan, he said Cutlip was aggressive on those side drafts last night. Man,
yeah.
I'm still seeing that. I didn't realize how so.
There was a bit of netcode that could have absolutely ruined things. Here's some more really tough battling here. Side by side, beating and banging. Oh, boy. Again, how many side bangs there were, and there weren't wrecks from it, was absolutely intense. You see Tate Lytle, Matthew Weeks falling through the field. Night ruined for them with all the contacts they were making.
That's good.
Yeah.
Wild. It stayed like that for majority of the run, too.
Oh, man, Chad Frankenfield getting hit again by Nick Indelicata this time, pushing him up. hitting each other. There was some temper. People were getting very frustrated with how hard it was to pass. Almost 4 wide down the front straightaway. But it was incredible for a racing standpoint. It was really good. And then here we go down to the final 2 laps here. Garrison Hogan leading. Here comes Tyler Fode on the last lap, trying to make a run, trying to catch up to him. And Garrison Hogan trying to defend here at the end.
Yeah,
it was intense. He was. He definitely got it narrowed down. I thought a bump was coming here onto the back of Garrison Hogan, and he almost did. Almost did.
You, if anyone, knows that Fode has it in him.
Yeah, Fode. If Fode gets there, he would definitely have used the bumper. Here comes Garrison Hogan to win the Napa Auto Parts 200 at Chicagoland, and he able to get it over Tyler Fode, locks himself into the next round. But the wrecking's not done just yet. We're gonna take a look at the finish line. You're not done wrecking yet, Goody.
Nope. Yeah, I was just trying to cruise, man.
Yeah, this was at the finish here behind Christopher. Gets spun around, and oh no.
Yep.
Oh man.
You know the funny thing for I'm assuming Christopher didn't have a 0x, but I'm like, I saw him spinning down. I'm like, I don't know if he's crossing the line yet. I'm just gonna hit him across the line just in case, just help him.
Just to help the guy out, huh? Just to also get me more incident points to try to get you over that threshold to be the most in the series.
That's a 2-for-1 deal right there.
It's so nice of you, Goody. I didn't know you were that nice of a guy.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think about the incident points, but I'm like, man,
I did.
At that point, I didn't care. I was hoping just to get in the top 40, which I did. I got 39th. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I saw Christopher there, and then just push him across the line a little bit. But he was already past it.
Yeah, now you sent him to the hospital is what you did.
Yeah. Sorry, Chris.
Well, we have one more video to show. We didn't get to do last week's podcast because I was out of town. And of course, when that happens, one of probably the biggest, what would you call it, drama of the season so far took place.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
We wanted to go. I'm not going to showcase the whole race because it was a road course, and road courses are boring. But
it probably would have been better
if Stanley won.
If this didn't happen, it maybe could have been different. It maybe could have been more exciting. Yeah.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
We're going to go ahead and showcase what everyone keeps trying to get me to go about showcasing. Everyone wanted to hear our opinion on the matter as far as what ended up happening between Chris Wright and David Tooker here. We're going to go ahead and show the replay of what happened at the road course. Bam! And this was completely intentional. Chris Wright absolutely admitted to being intentional. Not that he could really deny it after being a football field behind the guy and slamming him. You see him going off the racetrack trying to, at this point, waiting on David Tooker. And you know what? If he would have made the contact there,
you could have been like, there could have been the benefit of the doubt there.
You could have had the benefit of the doubt, Chris. But to be honest with you, once David Tooker got past, and you being a lap down, no one's going to take your side on the matter. It's kind of a bad situation.
You know what? I don't think he cares though. I think he didn't.
No, I think he wanted it to be known it was personal. David Tooker. So we'll stop it right there. That's a good video or point to stop it at. So what ended up happening, if everyone doesn't know, at the Super Speedway, the last race of the regular season, for a chance to be able to make it into the playoffs, Chris Wright needed to win. Came down to, I think, 3 laps left to go. David Tooker tried to put a side draft on Chris Wright, and either a little bit of net code or actual contact. It was very tight to tell. Ended up causing Chris Wright to get turned around after leading the event and causing a big one. Chris Wright's chances of making the playoffs were essentially done at that point. David Tooker was still technically, he still is in the playoffs, so didn't really change his outcome of making it in or not. But for Chris Wright, in his mind, it ruined his season, even though I think he might have still not made it in, even if he had won because of how far back in points he was. So I do want to say that I still don't think he would have made it even if he won, because you have to be in the top 25 in points to be able to make it in on a win.
Yeah, I think he was behind me in points there too.
Yeah, he was like back in like 36th or 7th. Yeah. So even with the win, I don't think you were going to make it still, but
it would have salvaged something in his eyes, I'm sure. But
I mean,
yeah.
We saw in real life Bubba Wallace turn Kyle Larson. He gets suspended. We've seen it in other sports. Some places, some leagues, they suspend them for life. And in others, they suspend them for one race. In this situation, Elite decided to go about suspending him for the rest of the season. Essentially, the next five races, and he loses out on his charter position. In my opinion, I think that's a fair call.
Yep.
I don't think that. I know the Pro Edge guys over there want him suspended forever. I don't think you can do that. I think for the rest of the season, and he loses out on a chance to be able to have a charter. So he has to go into Daytona and try to qualify in, which is not easy. There's like 3 spots between 17, 19 people to try to get into Daytona. So his chances of making Daytona for next season go down tremendously from a locked in position. So even from that spot, he's potentially lost out on being able to make it into Daytona. I think that's fair. I don't know really what else you want.
I agree. For Chris too, it's not been in his persona to generally, kind of do what I would admit at being a chicken shit move, if I guess no better way to put it. And it's something that happened at Daytona. Stuff happens. We were, 200-300 yards from getting the white flag. It's a restrictor plate. Stuff's gonna happen. You can't hold it that personal. But on the other hand of this too, I was even talking with current teammates and Pro Edge owner about this too. A lot of the Pro Edge drivers, we talked about Tate and sometimes how his demeanor, I guess you can say, comes into play after these incidents. If Chris would, if it would have been reversed, if Chris would have done that to Tooker, it would have been a bigger deal, obviously in Tooker's mind, because he was the one to get taken out. But when and Chris could be like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry." Tooker might run his mouth yet, and then this happens. Tooker once again, he calls Dusty the windshield wiper. I think in the Speed Weeks or Daytona a couple weeks ago as well. When you kind of tear down drivers like that for any little thing that happens to you, and then when you cause an incident, you just kind of it's no big deal. You're kind of opening a door for people to kind of be pissed at you and want to retaliate against you.
I said it as soon like that night after the wreck when David Tooker spun out Chris Wright at Daytona. David Tooker complained about Dusty on Monday night. I said it for David Tooker. I would say it for Chris Wright as well. How about we put ourselves in their shoes? I mean, honestly, it's a crappy situation, but people are racing for a win. I mean, it'd be a different situation if it was more intentional. Chris Wright feels like it was completely intentional. I don't know, man. Just
I there's no part of me that thinks that was intentional though either.
I don't either. But I can understand him being really upset. But again, the situation of the matter is like you have put yourself in a really good position at Daytona, but you had not put yourself in my mind a spot that was like you worked up to it all season. You didn't. Yeah. You were very good that night. You're very good up that night. But David Tooker, you took him out of a chance of the whole season. Kind of the levels of getting back on. It's a little bit more a whole season versus you had a really good night that could have changed your season, not that it defined your whole season. That's my take.
Exactly too, and I don't know. At the end of the day, too, I love both the guys.
I do too. I do. I don't think this changes anything about Chris Wright. I think Chris Wright, it will. No one's going to remember this in by next season. Yeah, I really don't.
Sit him in the penalty box.
I think these two guys won't even have another argument. I don't think they'll have another argument. These two guys are nice guys. So yeah. I think from here on, it's not like a situation like we had back when we had some bad name drivers. We won't say their names that are no longer racing in Elite. They're no longer racing in Elite for a reason.
And maybe a lot of them aren't racing in probably any leagues
because they would always pick a fight with somebody. These two guys aren't always picking a fight with somebody. So I think it's just a bad situation. I hope we move on. And move on we will, because now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the finishing order here for the Chicagoland, kind of get an idea of where everyone was at on the results side of things. Garrison Hogan won the race, led the most amount of laps, and did a really good job there. 68 laps. I didn't know he led that much. He led a lot of laps. Tyler Fody able to get second place after starting 22nd. Didn't lead a single lap, which is very odd for Tyler Fody. Yeah, that makes 2 times I picked Tyler Fody, and he hasn't led a single lap. So,
and I think we have to point out Chad finishing right ahead of me there in 38.
Yeah. And Chad down there having disconnect issues.
And the world famous Chad's cat once again strikes.
Was that what happened?
Yep, stepped on the power button, turned his computer
on. Oh my gosh.
What I love too is I can't remember who said what, but we had Ethan in Discord, and then Tooker said something almost immediately after that over the race chats. I think Ethan said something like, "Man, he's gonna eat that cat," and then Tooker immediately after that went on the radio, was like, "Yep, I guess that cat's for lunch or dinner tonight or whatever."
He's gone. Yeah, he's gone.
The cat's done.
Other notable drivers: Matthew Weeks finishing back in 33rd. Awful. Did not need that going into Talladega. The same thing for Tate Lytle. Now finds himself below the cutoff line. Drivers that had a great change of pace. Jonathan Cutlip, 2 tires, able to finish 3rd. Incredible. Johnny Thomas finished 14th. That is not where he was running. He was running back in 24th before all that. So he ended up picking up a lot of spots from that. So yeah, a lot of
even our Daytona winner, Jesse, he had that little spin through the grass and still maybe not.
He came back.
Finish. Yeah, 17th.
He's gonna have a legitimate chance to try to point his way in. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and yeah. Let's take a look before we start going into what it's going to take to get into Daytona. Let's go ahead and take a look at our how we did in our picks. There we go. I picked Tyler Fody. This is like a win for me, even though it's second. I still haven't picked a winner. I got 37 points. That's the most I've had all season. I'm excited about that. That was awesome. You didn't do good. You picked David Tooker.
Yeah, I think he was running hard. He was going after it, try to get that revenge, which is what I was hoping for. But I think he burnt those tires up just a little too much. I think a lot of the Pro Edge guys had to struggle with that.
All the Pro Edge guys really had a weird race. They were great in the early run and then horrible at the end, which is not normally how they do things. But Tate Lytle, 12 points for Johnny Thomas. Jeff Green picks Scott Crump, and Ethan Burrell picks the winner again.
Yeah,
oh my gosh,
that's right. I got to start being a little more erratic.
You're running out of time.
Yeah, because no matter what I do, it's Ethan just picks him.
Ethan's really good at picking guys. Ethan has been incredible with. He's probably picked about 6 or 7 winners this season. Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable.
He runs up front with them, so he knows who to pick.
And he picks last out of all of us.
Yeah.
He waits for all of us to pick, and then he picks the winner. It makes us look even worse. Here's the standings as they run right now. Ethan Burrell leading it by a lot now.
Yeah, a lot. I was close at one point, but yeah, not anymore. Got to do some heavy lifting here.
Yeah, and Jeff Green
Look at a little shake
Moved up to third. Jeff moved up to third, got around Johnny Thomas. I even moved up closer to Johnny. Johnny's Tate Lytle pick did not come through. The marbles picked Casey Hatch, who got 4 points. The marbles are so far back.
Man,
they're real bad.
Jeff, I think was that one race he picked RC or something, and
I did. I picked somebody that didn't show up one time as well.
Makes you wonder if how close these could have been.
Yeah, so that's the points as they run. Let's go ahead and see what our picks for Talladega are looking like. I picked Johnny Thomas just because I feel like he's gonna try to be smart. He's gonna try to be smart. He's not gonna put himself in his bad position. I just need points. I just need really good points. I think Johnny Thomas is going to be one of those guys that are going to go out and try to get top 10. That's what he's going to focus on. You picked Jonathan Cutlip, which is an interesting choice. I'm not sure why. Why'd you pick Johnny?
He won Talladega, I think, last season.
Did he? Last season?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think he ran well at Daytona too before he got in a wreck, but it's a little bit of calculated. He can run up front, and he loves the side draft as we've seen in last night's race. So it's gonna probably be a boomer bust pick, but I think Cutlip can do some damage either way for me.
Jeff Green picked Matthew Weeks.
That's Johnny
Thomas picked Jeff Green. We're just all picking the guys in the group here now. Ethan Burrell picked David Tooker. Third time is the charm. I'm sure Ethan Burrell picking David Tooker is going to allow him to go out and win now.
Yep.
He did bad for me. He did bad for you. he's going to now go out and win for Ethan. It's team orders.
And he'll do a clean side draft to
clean side draft on the guy to win the race.
Yep.
That's our picks for Daytona. Let's go ahead and take a look now. We have 14 drivers trying to move on to the next round. Some of those have accomplished that. Some of them are on the cusp of being able to do it, and others are looking on the outside trying to find a way in. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what it's going to take for them to be able to get into the next round here. There we go. Tyler Footy. The guys in green are the ones that are locked in. They don't have anything to worry about. It did not show everything. Why did it not show everything? Hold on.
I just like Tookers after we just made that comment. No side drafts.
Yeah, no side drafts is what my recommendation for him is going to be. Hold on, let me pull it back up because it did not showcase everything. I don't know why, but yeah, Ethan Burrell. He just needs to finish 30th or better. Nick Indelicato, he has to finish 20th or better. And this is under the presumption that one of the guys in the back wins to get themselves in. So it moves the cutoff line, as well as Ethan Burrell does not lead a lap. And the guy that, say, like Scott Crump, well, it would be Scott Crump, finishes second and leads the most amount of laps. This is what Ethan Burrell would have to finish if he didn't lead a single lap, would be 30th. Same thing with Nick Indelicato for 20th, Ryan Gable 14th, Matthew Weeks 13th, Jonathan Cutlip was 11th, and Scott Crump has to, just there's no guarantee for Scott Crump. Someone wins, they're in. So Scott Crump has to get up into there. And then I also put onto the side super speedway average finishes this year. Ooh. Some of those are pretty good. Matthew Weeks is 1.5, which is unbelievable. I don't understand that at all. How he could have 1.5 from two super speedway races is that's
he won the Daytona.
He won Daytona and finished second.
Yeah,
he finished second.
He's usually up there poking his nose for victory. So that's like he's gonna be pretty good hands. Just kind of looking at some of these other guys, Garrison too. Says make no enemies. I don't think Garrison's really gonna have that issue. Probably the only one you'd have to be scared of is Chad, which Chad's maybe his own worst enemy too. But I would have loved to see
Chad's his own worst enemy. Yeah, Chad is his own worst enemy. We're gonna pull that up now. I just had to recreate the slide to be able to showcase the rest of the guys there.
Let's see if we can get that up.
Yeah, no, I put onto there. Scott Crump used his teammates. All 3 of his teammates are in the points right now. 2 of them are locked in. Just use those teammates there. There we go. Much better. Yeah, Scott Crump, just use your teammates. David Tooker, no side drafts.
Changes.
Tate Lytle, you need to care just a little bit. I know your thing this year is I don't care, but you're out of the playoffs right now. Care just a little bit. You're 10 points out. Jesse Racines, he needs the magic that he had at Daytona in the final race. He needs to get that magic back in him and find a way in. Johnny Thomas, the likable guy. There's a lot of people out there willing to work with him. He needs to call in those favors now. Then Chad Frankenfield, you just got off of door slamming a crap ton of people at Chicagoland. You're not going to have a lot of people wanting to work with you. You might want to make a rule change. I don't know. Maybe make it to where I don't know, guys that have a Chad as their first name get 10 more bonus points. You're gonna have to figure out what you're gonna do there.
Or maybe just put a leash on his cat too. He might have been
that too. If I would have known about the cat, I would have put down there, throw the cat away.
Kick it outside.
Some notable things. Tate Lytle has not raced at a super speedway this year.
That's interesting.
Goes back to, you need to care just a little bit. You're gonna have to race one of them super speedways now. You're gonna have to do it.
He's had some wild stuff happen to him on non-plate tracks, and I don't know, man. I could see him just getting into something weird on Talladega, but yeah, we'll see.
Back to Matthew Weeks there. Wins the regular season, most consistent guy. What in the world happened, man? He finished 10th and then 33rd. Awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah. He was just around. That 1.5 average finish. He's saving his magic for Daytona coming up, I think. Or not Daytona, Talladega, sorry.
Talladega. I don't know. He just needs to finish 13th or better. Some of these guys are going to be focusing on what they got to do here. I just showcased what you got to do. For the worst case scenario to happen, that's where you have to end up finishing for. But save that if you want to, and kind of use that as a playing card.
You know what this kind of tells me too? There's going to be a lot of these guys in the back trying to just be there at the end, and there's a lot of guys who are going to be aggressive too. And some point they're going to meet, and it's going to be wild. It's going to be chaotic, and usually Daytona, Talladega don't disappoint in those.
I think it's going to be depending on how easy it is to be able to make passes. If it's very difficult, I don't think you're going to see a lot of these guys waiting in the back. Maybe the ones that are in right now, but the guys in red, if they're not up there,
the guys in red, they're going to be on the chip. They're going to be making aggressive moves, I think.
Chad is going to make it 3 wide down the middle and put his nose in between somebody. It's going to happen.
He was like 6 laps down or 5 laps down from probably something his cat did at Daytona, and he was
doing that. Yeah. Well, we're going to go ahead and do a commercial break. When we get back, we're going to take a look at the gauntlet here, and we're going to see what kind of time Zach Evans does while answering our questions. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of BellyUp Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BellyUp, you will get 15% off your purchase at RighteousFelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon jerky.
Hey guys, this is Hector from the Insert Name FC podcast, here to tell you guys about Canada Dips. It is a great tasting, superior alternative to traditional dip using CBD in a way that is radical, enjoyable, and effective. It comes in 5 core flavors: wintergreen, mint, citrus, mango, and American spice. Canada Dip CBD is the new evolution in dip, allowing guys to enjoy great, long-lasting taste without the downsides. If you guys want to go ahead and try them out, use the code BellyUp20 at CanadaDipCBD.com. Once again, BellyUp20 at CanadipsCBD.com, and you'll get yourself 20% off your purchase. Thank you again for Canadips for being a great partner of BellyUp Sports.
Us today to do the gauntlet is everyone's favorite Zach Evans, my last week's fill-in for the the BellyUp Sports Cup Series broadcast booth. Now joining us here to try to take on the gauntlet. If you're ready for this, Zach, we are as well. Get going on track.
All right.
Alrighty, Zach. We can usually get a good idea how people do at this racetrack with the first few turns.
Oh, here you go. There's your sign.
Perfect. That's exactly what we like to see. Alrighty, Zach. Well, obviously you have a bit of a different situation than most people in Elite because you're all-arounder. You're a part of a race team, you're a part of a broadcast booth, you're a racer in Elite all throughout the series that you've been a part of. Tell me, how do those correlate together, and what's your experience with each one of them?
Well, I'll be honest, I don't know how much, I don't know how much the my driving helps in the booth because I was never very good, and we're seeing that on display here. And the team ownership thing was always kind of a little bit of tongue-in-cheek. It honestly started as a joke. I'd always laugh at teams like Lake Norman or Pro Edge, and they'd have their fancy press releases and their graphics and their sponsor announcements, and I always thought when I was running in like Cup or whatever that was just awfully serious to be taking these pixel cars. So literally Wally Racing started as a joke between me and Kyle Walgren to like just kind of make fun of that stuff. I wanted the Twitter account to be more of a parody and that kind of thing, and ended up kind of actually growing into something a little more serious. And I mean, at one point we had 2 or 3 guys in Cup, and one season we won 2 truck races, and it's kind of thinned out over time, but it definitely got bigger than I expected. And I don't know, I do think overall it's helped to do a little bit of all those things just to have the different perspectives, especially when I am announcing on Sundays with the trucks, or when I have to take over for you when you decide you don't want to announce a road course race. And like I say, just a lot of different perspectives and knowing especially what the cars sometimes do in situations over a run or when you're racing around different guys in the league. So I don't know. I feel like it helps me in the booth, but I don't know. I'm probably biased.
Well, the first person I ever got to experience with the booth whenever I was first getting into it was with you. And that's kind of, I don't know if you meant to play this role, but you seem to be the starting point for a lot of guys. Oh, there you go. Starting point in the wall. Starting point for a lot of guys getting into the Elite booth. You seem to be the aforementioned, virgin taker there and taking on a bunch of new guys and helping them out in the booth. Did you think that was going to be your role, just training a lot of new guys all the time in the Elite?
That kind of came out of the blue also, and I have to admit sometimes I kind of feel like the guy who gave John Dillinger his first gun when it came to introducing you to the broadcasting side.
No. Thanks.
But no, I mean, you've done great with the podcast and in the booth on Wednesdays after you moved on from the truck booth. Obviously, back when I tried to figure it out one time when Dave was out, and I can't figure it out anymore. But at one point, I taught Dave the ropes on producing, and obviously he's done far more than I was ever capable of doing. So kind of weird how that's worked out. We're gonna go to the beach here real quick. Got to build a sandcastle.
Hey, that's not bad. That was actually pretty impressive, yeah.
And but yeah, no, I definitely, that would have been the last thing I expected when I got involved in Elite. But it's kind of weird how that's kind of, like you say, it's turned into a little bit of my legacy or whatever. I'm not gonna say what you called it, but
Taker.
Yep, that one. But boy, these guardrails are real solid here. They do a good job here in Germany on building their guardrails. I'm just gonna cut through here real quick.
Yeah, you're really exploring the track.
Look, I bought this track today. I'm gonna check out every inch of it.
Yeah, so far you're doing a good job. You're experiencing all the walls, really. You're testing them all out. It's impressive. You talked a lot about that, but that's not the only things that you got into. Oh, boy. Oh, my gosh.
No, we're driving good.
Zach, I don't know if I made enough questions for you. I'll be honest. You're trying out everything here at the track. Obviously, it's not just on the racing side and on the broadcast side that you're a part of. I did want to, before we get into more silly questions, to also bring up another organization that you're very part of and intuitive. Oh my gosh.
Fine.
Yeah, Me Fine. You Not Fine. But yes, the Me Fine organization. Can you give everyone a little idea what Me Fine is? Please don't get stuck.
I'm not stuck. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. Yeah. No, Me Fine. So, Me Fine, obviously, it kind of started, I put that on all my sim racing cars. Really, it started, I did charity race during COVID, even before I was in Elite. No, we're fine, Gerald. It's fine. And,
You're going to make Dusty a happy man, because he's not going to be last after this, I do believe.
That's what if you can't win, be spectacular. I have been spectacular. But yeah, no, Me Fine. I put, like I say, it is but even before I was in Elite, I started putting out some of my cars here on iRacing. And it's a charity that's now headquartered in Durham, North Carolina, but kind of started close to my hometown. It provides support for families of patients at Duke, UNC, and Wake Med Children's Hospital. Obviously, and I think it's important to say provide support, because obviously the first thing you think about is the money, right? Because going to the hospital at any circumstance is expensive, and then you add in, when it's a child. All right, well, a lot of times that means a parent has to choose between going to work or going to the hospital, and sometimes that means choosing between paying the hospital bill and paying rent. We're talking some serious stuff these families go through on top of dealing with a child with a serious illness. So that's what Me Fine is there to help with. The name has kind of become a meme in itself. We've already joked about it several times here, and anytime I'm involved in an incident or miss an incident, it seems to come up in broadcasts or in the in-race comms. But
that doesn't happen very much, missing an incident. But okay.
Oh yeah, there is that. But it's the whole story behind it was the family that started the foundation. They had a son named Folden Lee, and when he was one of these children that was ill, and every time somebody, no matter what was going on, how many treatments he had gone through that day, you'd ask him how he was doing, and he'd say Me Fine, and that's what where the name came from. They set up the foundation kind of in his memory, and it's just grown from there, which is awesome to see. And fortunately, I've been able to raise awareness of it with this silly little pixel car thing.
Absolutely, and you've done a great job with all that. You really have. Well, one thing that doesn't get criticism, let's just say that the Me Fine organization you're driving is really getting criticized here by everyone having to watch this. But oh my gosh, so lay off the throttle.
I really thought it would help. I really thought it would help. It did not.
So the organizations hasn't gotten criticized, but I go and I miss one race, and then nothing but the booth gets criticized. Nothing more than what happened at the road course between Chris Wright and David Tooker there. What happened? Tell me from your side of things, because their criticism, if people don't understand, was from you guys bringing up a driver that intentionally wrecked somebody and interviewing them. And the criticism from that was, well, why would you want to bring light to somebody that intentionally wrecked somebody? I let that be known on my end, but I want you to let people know on your end. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I have two ways to answer that question. The first one is, it's important to note I was the sub, so I was trying to stay out of the decision-making process as much as possible.
Deny.
Dave and David's show had to answer for that one. I was just going to be able to walk away when it was all over and say, y'all have a great night. So I stayed out of that. But I do, here's the, but to not give an actual answer, I mean, I think they took the right approach. The driver Chris asked if he could give an interview. He was asked if he would behave, if he would keep it clean, all of that. He said yes. Of course, if he didn't, then he would have probably gotten kicked, but that's neither here nor there. Ow! And,
oh my god.
Look, and I've been, unfortunately, in that situation in real life, and, if you don't talk to the guy, you're not doing your job.
Okay.
That's admittedly, real life is different than the pixel cars, I get it, but I didn't see a problem with it, and everybody behaved in their interviews, and we got David's side of it. I had no problem saying I didn't appreciate what Chris did. I thought it was pretty rotten, and I said as much. And that's really all I know to say about it.
All right, I think that's very well said. Very well said. You pretty much denied having any part of it, but still, you very well said there. I have a couple other questions here for you. If you were to run the perfect elite point system, what point system would you use for elite?
Oh my gosh. Probably.
Hurry.
I'm a sucker for an old school point system. Just go back to the old Latfer system, no playoff. Whoever has the most points win. If somebody wins by 200 points, who cares?
All right, last question here, because you're just at the end of this here. Explain to 5-year-old you how your elite career has gone up to this point.
I won a race. That was pretty cool.
That's all you would tell the 5-year-old you?
We're not going to talk about anything else. There's nothing else to talk
You're
about.
You're not going to even warn him?
No.
He's got to look forward to.
You're not going to be
like, man, it's going to be rough for you. There's going to be some really hard crashes that make people jaw drop. Nothing. You're just going to tell him you won a race.
You're gonna win a race, and you're gonna coming to the white flag in that race. You're gonna be side by side with Jeff Green. Yes, that Jeff Green, and it's gonna be awesome. The rest of it, the flying through the space at Bristol, or getting wrecked at Daytona on lap 3 by Chad going 3 wide in a hole that doesn't exist, or any of that other stuff. No, he's gonna have to find that out on his own. Adversity makes it tough, man. We're gonna build some more sandcastles while we're waiting here.
I don't agree with how you're gonna treat your younger self, because you should at least warn him of the impending doom. At least set his priorities straight. Okay,
if you're gonna be dumb, you better be tough. That's all I gotta say.
The car showed its toughness here today. You were able to get around the gauntlet. I think that's more to credit to the race car than it was for your driving. But we wanted to go ahead and let you do your thank yous and shout outs to allow you to be able to come out here and be able to do this. And like I said, you got me fined. You have so many things in the iRacing side of things that you like to call pixel cars, but yet you have so many things revolving around it. We want to go ahead and let you do your thank yous and shout outs to all those that allow that to happen.
Sure. Obviously, thanks again. I say thanks. It's been so great to have me find on all the cars and raise the awareness for that. And thanks to everyone, and I do mean everyone in Elite, whether it's been when we used to do the sweet potato race. I guess I need to bring that back at some point. I don't know. Or whatever the case may be. Anybody who has ever supported them, back when I was doing the t-shirts with 213, anything like that. Thank you so much for supporting that. Thanks to everyone over at Wally Racing who has stuck through the times or was ever a part of the team. I know Sam's probably looking to find another. I'll put in a plug for him. Since Wally has kind of fallen on hard times, he might be looking for a new team for next season over in the Stay Tuned Sports Truck Series. So if you're looking for a guy, he's pretty good at super speedways. He didn't get a chance to show it this weekend at Talladega, but if you're looking for somebody, be sure to reach out to him. Thanks to guys like Bojo and Scott Nicky and Wally who have painted vehicles for me over the years. Thanks to everyone who tunes in on Sunday nights or when I used to be on Wednesday nights or whatever the case may be. Thanks to Chad for putting up with all this nonsense and occasionally sending me money to say words on broadcasts.
You get paid for this?
Sometimes.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
that's nice.
Oh, we're gonna build some more sandcastles.
All
No,
right.
we're good. We're good. We did it. We did it. Look at this.
You did your thank yous and shout outs. I'll let you spend more time here on the track, but we're gonna go back to the booth and see what kind of lap time you were able to do here. It's gonna be.
Oh, it ain't good.
It's gonna be up there. You're gonna want to look at the bottom of the video here, but.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh! One more for the road, everyone. There you go. All right, well, thank you, everybody. We're gonna go back up to the booth and see what kind of lap time Zach Evans did to my poor car here. Thank you. We'll see what we did here.
EMS.
That was rough, wasn't it? That was Zach Evans destroying it.
That was rough. At first, man, he was kind of being smooth about his wrecks, but it got a little messy.
It got out of hand real quick.
But like
Evans destroyed it.
It sounded like he was having a blast, and man, I love Zach Evans. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, he's fun. He's a fun guy. Does a lot of broadcasts. He does the Sunday nights with the trucks and everything. But boy, he's gonna be thankful to be out of Germany because he left some war crimes there. It was not great. Let's go ahead and take a look at what kind of time he was able to do at the gauntlet, and we have a new last place. Wouldn't you believe it? But not much.
Not much.
Well, that was close to Dusty. I'm thankful for Dusty. He's been at the bottom for so long. He's got a friend now.
He's got a buddy down there. Yeah, I still can't believe Crump's right ahead of him. Dusty too there, but
Crump went so slow.
Yeah.
I would literally I go back and I watch it and I'm like, he's not even getting into fourth gear. Yeah, no, Zach Evans did. I mean, he was full throttle, but man, he went backwards a lot.
He was a dart without feathers
Yeah, it was rough. 13 drivers have taken on the gauntlet. I have a few other people that are contacted me that we'll probably have for next time. So we'll be able to extend that list more and more as this season goes along and be able to get more and more names on there. But it's been interesting just to kind of keep track of all the times and everything. It's all over the board. It's quite a spectacle for sure. It's a spectacle.
Yeah, got quite a range. What is it? About a minute and
some change.
Change,
not too bad.
Seconds. Yeah, not too bad.
Well, we got one last thing to do, Goody. We're going to be going ahead and watching the marbles race here. You and I are going to go about being the announcers to say for the marble race to kind of see how it all will play out for Talladega for the cutoff race here. And the marbles haven't been doing very good lately.
Tonight is where it turns around.
Tonight is where it changes. Yep. Tonight is where it changes, folks. The marbles are absolutely going to be picking correctly here. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. There we go. We got green flag here. It's 5 laps.
Does Burrell get another pole here? Yeah, he started up
Ethan
front.
Burrell got another pole for too good.
He had a good running Talladega in the trucks.
He did. Sunday. Yeah, he did. He was in the top 5 for a lot of it. So yeah, that'd be interesting if Kyle Hanshaw is able to get it. Here comes Trey Holmes. He was also good at Talladega, and Ryan Gable. So yeah, this ain't bad. This has got some contenders up there.
Yeah. Yeah, Gavel. Yeah, Trey almost won Daytona a couple weeks ago as well. It scared me there for a minute. Seth Rawls, Rocket Man, trying to rocket to the front. Oh, he's choosing the outside to see if anyone's going to go with him. Anyone's going to draft.
On Gable's the second lap now. Here comes Wyatt Canado. Whoa, Wyatt Canado threw it in there. Trey Holmes starting to get out to a little bit of a lead here, starting to get some separation. I see you back there trying to make your way up.
Yeah, I'm just trying to lurk. I'll probably be involved in a wreck here any minute.
Probably involved in a pile up here before too long.
You know what? Tate doesn't care, but his marble does. He's trying to go for the lead here.
Oh, I see that. Yeah, Tate Lytle trying to get up there. Here, Ryan Gable now out front. Ethan Burrell starting to make a move back up to the front. He fell back. He's coming back. Tate Lytle side by side for second. We're on our third lap.
Look at this. The UK one. Yeah. Man,
we got some new drivers up here we haven't seen too much in. Ethan Burrell has not won a marbles race, and here he goes for the lead. He's going to take the lead. And then he lose it. He
got
slammed
stuck.
the wall.
He hit
Yeah,
it
he slammed the wall. Here comes Wyatt Canadle. I don't know how well Wyatt Canadle does at super speedways, but he's going to have a challenge up here. Here they come to have 2 laps left to go in this marble race. Wyatt Canadle now to the outside, going to be taking the lead.
Here comes Personette and Vandermeer, and man, Personette, I think he's won a truck race at a restrictor plate track. He could be
that
a
is
dark
true.
horse pick. Yeah,
that is true. I mean, it's a super speedway. Anybody can win. Wyatt Canadle still out front. Here comes Ryan Gable again. He's able to get back out front. Ryan Gable, big lead now. As here they come down the straightaway to take 1 lap left to go in this event. Ryan Gable has a massive lead. But here comes Justin Vandermeer.
He's got
That's the name we haven't said.
He's got
that was a good move there. He's going to be right on the back. He's going to have the draft. He's going to get around him.
It's going to be a drag race, though. I think Gable's got the line going into the final.
He almost made contact. Justin Vandermeer had a good exit there.
That might have been.
Here they come, the final turn. Justin Vandermeer is going to have a big lead. Jonathan Cutler coming out of there.
Where did he come from?
I didn't even see his name. Down the back straightaway, Justin Vandermeer all by himself. He gets it. Justin Vandermeer. I don't think he's won a marbles race.
I don't think he has. I'm kind of glad Cutlip didn't make that run there for being my pick. I was a little worried about that.
You didn't want to share it with the marbles, huh? He would have known that would have ended badly for you.
Yeah,
huh?
that would have been definite, dude.
Well, Justin Vandermeer is able to get the. I don't know why it's spelled that way. I did not spell it that way. I did not put 2s in there, but for some reason it put it that way in the marbles. But he's able to win the marble race. So good luck to him at Talladega. Oh
said,
boy,
this is where it turns around. You got big shoes to fill now. You got to go win.
Yeah. Big shoes to fill, huh?
Yep. It's got to do the marbles proud.
Yep. Well, that was our show here today, folks. We appreciate you joining us. If you want to tune in and see more, we'll have the podcast again next Thursday. I think it's going to be Jeff Green back in the booth, isn't it? Or is it? We'll see. I think it might be either Jeff Green or Johnny Thomas.
Yeah, I can't remember now either. I think Jeff just did one. I have a feeling, but might be old.
Maybe it's Johnny Thomas. It might be Johnny Thomas's turn to get back up into the booth and tell us how I picked him. So I hope he's going to be telling me about his victory.
Hell yeah! Either way,
he better not finish bad.
Even if it's Jeff, he got picked too. So.
Yeah, that's true. Both of those guys got picked. So either one of those guys, if they're going to be in the broadcast booth with me next Thursday, Talladega is going to be an awesome one to go back and rewatch and see all the craziness. Hopefully, Goody, you're up there making some moves to where we get to talk about you.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be. I'm sure I'll be in there.
You'll be in one video or another, either making a move or being in a wreck.
Yep, I'm just as long as they don't cause it. That's
just get a lot of incident points for me, so that way my pick for you having the most incident points comes true at least.
I think you can go to bed tonight feeling pretty good.
Feeling pretty good about it.
Yep.
Well, we appreciate everyone tuning in tonight for the 13th episode of the Simply Racing podcast. We appreciate you all. Again, we enjoy this. We do this for the fun of it and for the fun of the sim racing world for Elite. And we hope to see you back again. Rewatch the episode. There was a lot of really good, interesting things that we talked about and went back to investigate. So. Yeah, I appreciate you, Goody. Thank you for joining me here tonight.
Yeah. Always love coming on here. Can't wait till I'm on again.
Yeah, there we go. I think you'll be on once or twice more before the end of the season, so you got a few more episodes to still do with me.
Heck yeah, looking forward to it.
All righty, guys. Thank you. Have yourself a wonderful night.